Mr. Romero, I live my life pretty good. Mr. Ryan Romero, Officer Ryan Romero, the South Daytona Police Department. I could do anything I want in life, Mr. Romero, but now there's a piece of paperwork on my head forever, on my record. It says I was yelling at passersby about swastikas, and that I caused 2 incidents, and that I was trespassing, and that I'm a suspicious guy. And you decided to take sides and lie about me on paperwork and trespass me. You're a shame, Mr. Romero, and there's a lot I could do with my days. I have liberty because I've honed my skills as an artist to make my way and sit with all these different people for all the little things I could do to support myself. You know, and in between I like to play music, and I like to walk around parking lots and stuff where I have to wait. And nobody ever gives me a problem, but you gave me a problem today. For that day, Mr. Romero, and every other day. And you know what? I don't have kids either. But if I had kids, I'd be pretty pissed off at the fact that people like you exist that lie on paperwork and give people trespass orders for the rest of their life. It was a bad thing to do to me, Mr. Romero. I'm going to come after you administratively. I'm a non-violent dude. If I was between the ages of 23 and 35, I would deal with you in a different way. But I'm 47. I don't think you're as old as me yet. But you know what? You're not a good American, Mr. Romero. I don't think you don't deserve to be called sir. You don't deserve to have a badge. You don't deserve to be representing the nice and decent people of South Daytona Beach. You know, how can they trust something? If something goes awry and there's confusion, knowing that a guy like you is going to be on the force who will lie on paperwork and take the sides of people that are in your community just because of favoritism, even though it's not right. I'm an American, Mr. Romero. You can't take me out of America. And for those people there that you agreed with, you know, you only have one side of your perspective, and you took their perspective to couple that with your own, which was a lie. And you made lies about me on paperwork, Mr. Romero. And I was nice about it. I went down and I asked, and I went through the right channels to try and get that taken away. And they says, you know what, even though you classified yourself as a victim on paperwork, it's up to the lady to take away the order. And she said no, because she lied too. And I got her in a lie. I just haven't done anything about it yet, but I'm going to have to, because it's my responsibility. Because the universe put me and you together, Mr. Romero, and for me to deliver this message to you, that you're a bad dude. I don't have nice things to say about you. I don't think that you have what it takes. You don't have the honor and integrity and trustability and responsibility. And you don't live right enough to have a badge and a gun and represent people and have that assumed authority that you could go into other people's lives on behalf of saving lives and preserving lives. That day you did nothing but aid and abet ignorance and discrimination and bias against me. And then you fabricated things in your own mind and put them on paper now that exists negatively for me. And no matter what category it is, the forms are the forms, Mr. Romero, and that's what they say. I'm a guy that was walking around with his guitar, caused 2 incidents, yelling at passersby about swastikas, and I'm suspicious trespassing. Mr. Romero, it wasn't a good thing to do, not at all. You don't get any good kudos for that day, Mr. Romero. And now we're connected forever. Is that what you wanted? And I want your parents and your family, and your wife and kids, if you have any, to know what kind of guy you are. The guy that would just be in uniform, all pride of his community, and lie on paperwork to condemn the long-haired dude with bees on his hat playing guitar while he's waiting, conducting business there, and almost gets ran over by a drunk guy at 9, 10 a.m. getting liquor. So I tell him what's up, and he disgruntledly calls me a bum. So I defend myself, and I tell him to fuck off, like I will you again. I haven't told you yet, but you're a bad dude, man. You did something to me that day, and it wasn't right, and it wasn't just, and I need to vindicate myself from that. So as long as that piece of paperwork against me exists, and as long as there's no remedy for it, and reversal of it, You got me, Mr. Romero. You got me to remind you and the rest of the community that you're a liar. You're a lying cop, dude. You're a lying cop that falsified paperwork and decided to be judge and jury right on the side of the road there. You know what? And I was very nice. I haven't looked at the body cam footage yet. But I even said, why would I want to be on that property while I wait? I'll go wait someplace else and take a frickin' nap. And you decided that wasn't good enough, so you had to trespass me just for fear of other ignorant people. That's not justified either, Mr. Romero. We have a problem. And the problem is an American problem, Mr. Romero. And this is my America too, buddy. How do you want it? How do you want it, Mr. Romero? You want the triangle eye? Either way, it's coming down on you. Because if there's an administrative record existing for me that's got negativity in it, and you're the creator of that, your name's on that piece of paper, Mr. Romero. What could I do about it? You know what? I should call you Ryan. Ryan. Ryan, you thought you'd make me be crying. But I'll be laughing in the end, Mr. Ryan, because this is small stuff to me. You know, if you want, you could see. I've dealt with stuff like this before. And because I live honestly, I don't lie, cheat, or steal, or incapacitate people for selfish reasons, mean intent, or personal gain. You can't touch me, Mr. Ryan, and nobody can, because I only respond. In the same philosophy, if I go up to somebody and tap them on the shoulder and they whip out a gun and shoot me, that's my fault, Mr. Ryan. Mr. Romero. Ryan Romero, officer of the South Daytona Police Department. You know what? It doesn't matter what your number is, because your number goes into a crappy place. It's a crappy bowl, like a hat. You know, how many do I have to pick out? I have a lot to pick, Mr. Romero. Ryan, but that day you made yourself shine. So here you are. You couldn't help yourself. You had to write that piece of paper, Mr. Romero, Mr. Ryan. So every single day, Ryan Romero, every single day there's a piece of paper that exists for me because you lied and fabricated a situation on paper to aid and abet a lady named Robin and some other lady that are also employed representing agencies. That's 3 people, dude. Ryan, you are one of 3 people that came against me. Okay? Misuse of 911, false claims, falsifying paperwork. Dude, that is a disgrace. That's a terrible thing to do. So now what we have to do is to remove that piece of paperwork and bring justice to this situation, Ryan. We're going to have to look at everything with a fine-tooth comb. And I don't mind being accountable. I don't mind being accountable that I said words like fuck you, cunt, all these things. Okay? Because when I get told these other things, like I got to get out of here and, you know, I'm banned from this place and I'm doing this and that this should be obvious and, you know, all these kind of things, I get called a bum, I'm going to unload. It's not your decision to see how I respond. Engage me by that. It's the only decision you have is to address the situation. And in doing so, Mr. Ryan Romero, you forced me to do this now. I'm going to write paperwork. I have the forms. But you know what? The forms aren't good enough, because when I fill out a complaint, I got to be really descriptive, and I got to list all the things, and I got to write it out like I'm making motions to file claims against you, because I need to protect myself, because you have millions of dollars worth of lawyers backing you, Ryan. Don't you know what your job is? How dare you disgrace the community and be so irresponsible as to lie and implicate me into a situation that could threaten and harm my life, which could be somebody else's kid. Or my kid, too, if I had kids. That could be your kid in another state. Some other officer saying, you know what, you're waiting for somebody, but you're playing the guitar, and even though you almost got ran over, and you got yelled at and scolded by some lady in a demeaning fashion, and told you're kicked off the property, and you yelled, you know, your kid yelled. Now he's got a mark on his head for the rest of his life. Couldn't even go to the Publix to do shopping over there. You're an idiot, dude. You're an idiot, Mr. Ryan Romero. It is what it is, you know. I'm sure you're clutching your gun and your cuffs and all your weapons. And people like you need weapons. I don't need weapons. I have paperwork and I have the American flag. And I have liberty, freedom, and justice for all, with civil and constitutional rights intact, Ryan. I affirmed them a long time ago when I knew what people like you were about. You have fun with that, buddy. 'Cause you'll be hearing from me, buddy. I wish you didn't do it. I wish you wouldn't have done it. But you couldn't help yourself, could you? A little big man complex, that ego and emotional basis that you have to live on, couldn't let you just say, all right, I don't really know this guy or his life. He didn't do anything in my eye that I saw, and I couldn't have possibly seen everything that he's done because I wasn't there the whole time, which you should have told yourself. And just said, okay, he's agreeing to get out of here and only come back when necessary. So now I'm going to trespass him, so we can't even take care of his business, Mr. Ryan. I had to do extra work for you. And it costs, extra cost, and extra inconvenience of other people. You don't see what you did. You're not justified, Mr. Ryan. Not at all. You know what? I don't care what your number is right now, because your number is crap. Okay? In connection to all the other officers that do right, and that are there with integrity, and take each situation like it is instead of fabricating and assuming and falsifying paperwork, there will be a number that matters for you. And it's going to start with case numbers and claim numbers, and hopefully you'll have an inmate cell number, too. That's what you need, Mr. Ryan, because when a cop lies, it's bad. Real bad. You're a bad American, buddy. See you later.